Goddamn. Goddamn, guys.
Goddamn is right. Goddamn is right, man. And what is going on, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing here today, man? And thank you guys so very much for joining us here today for another edition of NHP. We got quite the interesting episode here today for you guys. We have, you know, WWE, man. Sometimes I don't know where it all went wrong. Sometimes I don't know where it all went wrong, man. But we have a lot of interesting WWE stories today. We have some AEW stories that are gonna, at least they shocked me. But crazy stuff. I could say that, but we'll get into it here in just a second. And we're going to start you guys off with this news about Andrade, being that at this point, the news is fairly old. I want to say it came out last Saturday. It dropped, of course. Yeah, the day after, literally the day after news. And we're going to talk about Andrade first, and we're going to end you guys off with the WrestlePalooza and All Out predictions. So, if you guys are not aware, we will not be live for All Out. We will probably watch All Out, being that it starts at fucking 2 o'clock, and obviously we have nothing else to do. So we'll probably watch All Out. However, we'll not be reviewing it. If anything big enough happens, we'll talk about it on Unscripted, because a lot of times, especially when we look at like our match of the year category, a lot of that shit is pulled from pay-per-views. So it's always nice to tap in with the pay-per-views just to be sure. However, and you guys know, we remain very unbiased when it comes to both companies, and I can even tell you the show does not look good. It does not look good. Will it end up being good?
So mad.
Exactly. Will it end up being good? I don't know. Usually AEW shows do end up being good. But in terms of what we will be reviewing, it's obvious. It's an obvious WrestlePalooza, obviously. So we will still be live Saturday night. I really hope WWE never does this again. I'm sure they will. But we will be live Saturday night talking WrestlePalooza. However, there will be no all-out review. If you guys did want to tap in on the WrestlePalooza review, let us know your thoughts on All Out. If you did watch All Out and decided not to watch WrestlePalooza, or if you watch both, like we will be doing, you guys come in, tell us your thoughts about All Out. I'm sure we'll have our own thoughts to tell you as well. So just a fair heads up. There will be no all-out review this year, so this will be the first all-out since 2020 we won't be reviewing, and it's not even because we didn't want to review it. It's because it's because WWE had to go and step on their night to control the the headlines for the day on September 20th, 2025. I don't know. I don't know what that's
I
about,
don't
but
get it.
me neither, man. But if this is your first time watching and you guys do not know how the show works, every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central, we are on here with NHP Unscripted. Every Friday at 3 p.m. Central, we are on here with the news. So, if you guys did miss this past Tuesday's edition of Unscripted, Jey Uso turning into Roman Reigns, we talked about that whole thing. We talked about Monday Night Raw. Honestly, it was a mainly a Monday Night Raw episode because there wasn't much Dynamite to talk about. Dynamite fucking sucked. We have no Dynamite to talk about this upcoming Unscripted, so I'm very excited for that. September to remember. Look like September to wish I didn't remember. And I'm sure SmackDown tonight will have. Oh, well, WrestlePalooza is happening, so there'll probably be no SmackDown to really talk about either. So it'll probably be mainly a Monday Night Raw episode, anyways. But yeah, man. So, but if you guys did miss that, that is available for you guys on all platforms. That is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see it first, join us right here live on YouTube Fridays at 3 p. or Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Central, man. So, with that being said, if you guys have not got the chance to get your hands on some of the official NHP merchandise, you guys can now find this live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, where you can find this beautiful piece of NHP merchandise live on there as we speak, man. Again, a link is at the top of the description of this very video, man. That is bonfire.com. Also, if you guys have not got a chance to get your hands on some of the... what am I talking about? If you guys haven't got a chance to get to know who we are here at NHP, I am Johnny, one half of the host of this very show. And as for the other half, we got my man Sir K here. Sir K, go ahead. Let the people know what it is you're smiling about today.
Oh man, it's a good weekend. Got WrestlePalooza, got all out. Very excited for the weekend. That's the only reason I'm smiling. Most definitely, man. But just been chilling, man. Just been chilling. Just another piece just dies every time I read WWE news at this point of my life.
Hey.
And I've been chilling, man. I've been chilling, but I'm doing good. Just excited for the weekend, man. Just excited for the weekend. But like Durante always asks, how's life? How's the family? Life's good. Family's good. How is everybody doing in the live chat? Gotti, Bell, how is everybody doing in the live chat? Everyone doing in the replay? What about you, bro? How are you doing?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. I am chilling. I am chilling, bro. Yeah, honestly, honestly, not too bad, man. Honestly, not too bad. Excited for today. Obviously, excited to be here with you guys. Got some fun stuff going on afterwards, man. So excited for that. And then tomorrow we got a whole day of professional wrestling to
Pay-per-view.
watch. So me and Sir K are going to be fried from listening to AEW commentary and WWE commentary back to back. We're probably going to be pretty fried. However, other than that, man, I am doing pretty good, man. I am doing pretty good. Not too bad, bro. Not too bad. Yeah, nothing too much, man. Nothing too much. Just yeah, nothing too much. Just WrestlePalooza and all out, pretty much. That's all I got going on at the moment. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. But yeah, so excited for that, and yeah, that's basically about it, bro. I already finished Twisted Metal. I got nothing. I got nothing, bro. Got a couple
Now,
figures
dude,
I got to open and put in the case. That's pretty much about it, bro. To be honest. But yeah.
Love you, man. Yes, we do got it. We do always
Yes.
get together to watch pay-per-views, man. Especially certain pay-per-views, man. You gotta get together to watch, or else you're falling straight asleep.
Oh man. So, dude. Yeah, so some of these shows I genuinely don't know if I would have made them would have made it through them if I didn't have Sir K there, because when you're with your guys, it's easy. It's easy to
Yeah.
the show is more digestible. You could talk about the stupid shit that's happening in the moment. You could talk about the stupid commentary fuck ups that are happening in the moment. You can talk about all that stuff. However, when you're by yourself, man, some shows can be very rough to watch. So yes, but we do watch them together. That's why a lot of times when you see me, I'm usually more sitting over this way when Sir K's here, because if I'm ranting and I'm moving my hands a lot, you can literally see my hand in his camera. So so we try for that not to happen, because that just looks janky. But regardless, sometimes things get out of hand. Sometimes Triple H just makes it his mission to piss me off. But I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. So, yeah. As Durante always asks, I'm good. Family's good. And what about you, Durante, Logan, Bell, Mr. Walk 'em Down and cut they shit off, aka Mr. Walk 'em Down and run that marathon? My man, what was it? The leader of GDR LLC, Gotti, my guy. How are you guys doing, man? OG, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being here, man. As always, as Gotti says, he's making slow cooker chicken pasta. Sauce is homemade, creamy marinara sauce, tomatoes, seasonings, oil, water, heavy cream. Gotti, bro, you be cooking it up, man. You be cooking it up. I be trying, bro. Hey, come on, man. I can't knock it. I can't knock it. I do my meal preps every week, so
Mr. Cook 'em up.
I definitely Mr. Walk 'em Down and cook that shit up, bro. Come on, dog. Come on. Come on. This guy. So I used to cook a lot. I got in the habit of cooking things that were really bad for me. So I would make like the most like I got it like, man, I would make Biscoff pancakes, Biscoff French toast, all that type of shit. But eventually it got to the point where I was like, I can't keep having this shit, because I'm essentially just having junk every night. So I'm trying to keep it on the I'm trying to keep it on the I'm trying to keep it on the healthier side nowadays, but I think I do a pretty good job. I think I do a pretty good job at keeping it locked in, bro. So oh, bro, 100%. I gotta try it, bro. I gotta try this shit. This shit you be telling me about, I gotta try this shit, bro. But
oh wait, sounds fire.
But Gotti, if you're ever one of these days, man, if you're ever, I don't know what the hell you'd be doing out here for a pay-per-view, but if you're ever here for a pay-per-view, you let me know, bro.
Let us know. Exactly.
Look, Manager Logan, he, being as professional as he is, he did put forth the messages from your manager, and I'm rocking with these messages, bro. Very professional stuff going on. Very professional stuff going on in the DMs. Our manager Logan, let's say, I'll say this now because I don't think he's here yet. I think he may be getting a raise, man. I think he may be getting a raise. Nobody tell him he's getting a raise, because then he's gonna lock back out. But he's been locked in, bro. He's been locked in for sure. But
most definitely he has.
He did get into contact with GDR LLC, and I'm happy with how conversations have been going, man. You guys haven't put us on ice yet. You guys aren't pulling a Tony Khan, so I respect it. Or you guys aren't doing the Andrade and apparently ghosting your employer. So speaking of that, we're gonna start you guys off with this news about Andrade, man. But other than that, Gotti, man.
Oh, the manager's a burner. Hey, sometimes you gotta move.
Sometimes you gotta have that burner, bro. Sometimes you gotta have that burner. But but hey, I don't think that's your burner. I think it's your manager, man. I think it's your people. I think it's your management team, and Logan's our management team. So there you go.
Exactly.
But also, we got my twisted sister in here. We got Belle, man. What's going on with Belle? Let me see. She says he's more intrigued now about the Warner Brothers Discovery sale. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. We went over that last week. And that is definitely interesting in terms of like
all the people that are like looking to buy it, they are
100%.
almost all WWE affiliated. So it's very interesting.
Like we were talking a little bit about it last week, but it really is interesting because of the whole story about like WWE wants to get AEW kicked off, like in terms of like when they go to re-up, they want them to not get re-upped. So it's very interesting to see like the people at interest in buying that for sure. She also says she's not watching either show. Oh wow. Because it's a F1 and a football weekend. She's not throwing wrestling on top of that. I do get that because
I get it.
obviously you guys know, like I talk about it, when the playoffs come around, but like I'm a big basketball fan. However, I do not throw basketball on top of my schedule. I will keep tabs on basketball, but I don't watch it during the regular season because the regular season is too long and there's just too many games to the point where like a lot of games don't really mean anything.
It's
Um,
pointless.
but so it's
Mhm.
like, but don't get me wrong. When them playoffs come around, I'm tapped in for sure because I love me some playoff basketball. But I do get, I already watch so much wrestling. It's like you can't overcrowd your schedule like that. You can't. It's too much. It's too much. So I definitely get it. But uh
100%.
however, Gotti says if they do have a Chicago premium live event next year, I doubt it. But if they do, depending on how SummerSlam looks, probably just pass on it. If SummerSlam looks like a yes,
Yeah.
I'll probably just pass on it because
It would
it'd be hard enough affording one fucking WWE pay per view a year, let alone two of them.
load
So,
too.
bro, Sir K
God,
said
bro,
the
that's what
same
I said.
thing, bro. That
Dude, that'd be fire.
for me, I would have to choose one or the other. But a Chicago Chamber,
Same.
fuck, that'd
Ooh,
be hard.
I
That
might
would
have
be
to get
hard.
chills in. That might have to get chills in over SummerSlam, to be honest. Funny enough, I think Chamber is a safer bet for a pay-per-view experience
Especially the
overall.
way Chamber was this
And it's
year.
dude, it was the
Man.
best. It was that or Evolution for WWE this year for their two best shows.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
bruh, come on. So I would love a fucking Chamber, dude. Even though we'll talk about it later in the news, obviously, but I think I have a feeling of where
Me.
Chamber's going. And unfortunately, it's not Chicago.
Yep. Yes. Please give me a Chicago Chamber. I've literally ever since I was a little kid, my favorite match stipulation was an elimination chamber when done right. When done right, I reiterate, when done right. A lot of times it's not done right. However,
Come on. You don't
give
want the
me,
Miz in every single one as IC champ for like 4 years straight?
bro. Oh my god. Um, it is. Yeah. Huh, okay.
We're back.
I think so. I think-
Good lord, that makes no sense. Okay. Didn't even go out or dip for me, but it just does it in this. Makes no sense. Ugh, gotta love it.
Definitely. You're definitely, hey Gotti, I definitely see your point, bro. I definitely see your point because I I definitely yeah, it was for a second there. I think we're okay now though. So yeah, I definitely see your point. It may be the more responsible thing to do for just pay 500 for a day in Chicago than 2 to 3 grand for a weekend in
2000.
Minneapolis. So I get it. It's definitely the more responsible thing to do for sure. But Andrade. Speaking of irresponsible, Andrade. So
Damn.
Andrade's second run with WWE has come to an end on Saturday, September 13th, after it emerged that the 35-year-old had been. Oh, wow. I didn't even know he was only 35. I don't know why. I thought he was older. Anyway, it emerged the 35-year-old has been moved to the alumni section of WWE's website, with it being reported that after Andrade had been released by the company. Unlike the other WWE exits in 2025, Andrade's release was unrelated to roster cuts, as his departure was very much an isolated decision. Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer and the Takedown on Sports Illustrated have both reported that Andrade's release by WWE was related to a disciplinary issue. Sports Illustrated noted that Andrade had at least one wellness policy violation during his latest run with the company, which resulted in him being suspended without pay, although it's unknown if the suspension directly led to Andrade's release. That just goes to show TKO does things more in private, as to where the Vince administration would literally have it plastered up on all their socials that somebody got, suspended for 30 days over wellness policy. So Andrade was sent home from a mid-August taping of Friday Night SmackDown due to his most recent suspension, and the former United States champion was escorted out of the building. Corey Hayes of Body Slam noted that WWE had tried to reach Andrade for several weeks, but were unable to get into contact with him. PW Insider also noted Andrade had traveled to South America, so this was seemingly the reason for WWE being unable to reach him. Before Andrade's release, he was in a tag team with Rey Fenix at the time of his removal from the SmackDown tapings. Fightful reported Andrade and Fenix were originally planned for WWE Clash in Paris to challenge the Wyatt Six for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The match ultimately did not take place, and the Wyatts instead defended the Tag Team Championships against the Street Profits.
Damn.
So, there's a little bit more. There are, according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, there is a rumor making the rounds that a part of the issue with Andrade and WWE is that Andrade turned down a request to go work AAA. Different sources said that at no point was that request even made, as Andrade was never seen in any pitches for AAA creative ideas. So, as you can see, this is a little bit more of a he said, she said situation, but, that take it with a grain of salt, take it or leave it, however you want to take it. Also, this came out today, as we have the man, the myth, the legend, Uncle Dave. He says, in regards to Andrade, one person within WWE reportedly claimed buyer's remorse when it came to Andrade's second run in the company. What do they mean by that? Well, WWE reportedly believed that he would be seen as a huge deal, similar to Cody Rhodes and CM Punk.
Oh, there's your first problem.
These fucking... you ain't...
Fuck?
Huh?
What? What do you mean? Like, this is Andrade. He is not that level. Why would you expect that level?
Similar to how Cody Rhodes and CM Punk were received after leaving AEW, especially since he was fresh off of AEW television. There was similar frustration backstage that his English never got better.
Yeah.
What?
Like, okay, does that matter? There is things in wrestling called mouthpieces and managers, what he used to have, and that said exact person is still in that company on that same show that he was on, actually. So, you had your solution to that quote-unquote problem.
Okay, so let's rewind the clock a little bit. So, speaking on the first stuff, the disciplinary issues, the wellness policy violation, and him just ghosting WWE for several weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you ghosting them to go to South America is not a good look, because first of all, that's your employer, and second of all, you are on you are on, suspension for a wellness policy. To let them know that you went on vacation during that time is not a good look. Whether you went on vacation or not, again, to tell your employer, yeah, sorry, I was on vacation. Kind of crazy work. Because again, in their minds, they probably, they're probably upset with you. They probably are, hoping that you are, getting your shit together or whatever. And you're on vacation. That probably tells them right there, whether it's true or false, that probably puts the image out there that you don't really give a fuck, right? Okay, and then disciplinary issues, we kind of seen the same thing in AEW. Andrade got miserable in AEW for obvious reasons, and instead of going about things in a more professional manner, instead of going about things in a better way, he showed up to work to fight somebody, to try to get himself fired because I guess CM Punk led by example. I don't know. He, again, he thought that, okay, well, maybe I could just get into a fight, and if I act out enough, maybe they'll just release me, and I'll be fine. Again, not the fucking way to go about things. It's just not. It's not the way to go about things. It is to damage your reputation, and then look, you do it in AEW, and you go to WWE and do the same thing?
It's like, why? What do you even want at this point, man? I don't get it. And I get there's definitely a negative to the WWE side of things with booking and weird expectations that I don't know why you put on Andrade. But but still you don't act like that to your employer. You don't ghost them. You don't, especially on a wellness policy suspension. Just going on vacation is crazy, dude. And it's just it's unfortunate, man, and it's a fortunate pattern too for Andrade.
For sure. It's like, if you, again, if you're in the situation of Neville, and you ghost your employer, I could kind of see your point, because
Yeah,
you were lied to.
they
They
weren't.
literally lied to you. They told you, do the whole cruiserweight thing, get it over, and then we're gonna move you to Raw and SmackDown so you could be with, Seth Rollins and, AJ Styles, top guys like that, right? And then you do exactly what they ask you. You knock it out of the park, and then they do you like that. Like, okay, fuck you. Now I'm gonna walk out, and now you're gonna miss my services, bro. You're out on a wellness policy violation. You putting it out there, that you were basically on fucking vacation. They just it just doesn't look good. It looks like you don't care. It looks like you didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Again, and whether or not it's true or not, that's how it looks. And that's how your employer, especially your fucking employer, is gonna take it, right? So the wellness policy stuff is kind of crazy. Although, I can appreciate that TKO does kind of want to keep that sort of thing under wrap, and they like to, they like to keep it under wraps.
Mhm.
The one thing I will say about the Vince administration is I did sometimes it is nice to know that kind of thing, because we just thought they weren't using Andrade, and we were all just sitting here like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
What the
Like,
fuck?
what are you doing with Andrade? And obviously he's in a tag team, so what he is doing doesn't just
Effects.
affect him, right?
Mhm.
Because Rey Fenix was going to be on Clash in Paris. You took that away from him. Obviously, the Wyatt Six still got their spot, but that's just bogus, man. That's bogus to do to Phoenix. Phoenix, obviously, it's just sad. It's just sad to do to the guy, because I'm pretty sure if somebody asked Rey Fenix if he would have loved to have been on Clash in Paris, I don't think he would have told you he didn't want to do it. Okay, I don't think Phoenix would have told you he didn't want to work the show. Okay, that sucks because again, now you again, what you're doing does not just affect you. Now you're affecting his booking, now you're affecting his plans, and now you're affecting his time and what he's doing on television right now. And it's bogus stuff, man. So I don't know about that. And for those things, I do think Andrade is in the wrong, man. And again, this isn't the first time we've kind of heard about attitude problems with him in these companies, man, because we've heard about it with him in AEW. Now, he's lucky that Tony Khan is a little more forgiving because after all that stuff happened with him and Sammy Guevara, Andrade was actually, I wouldn't say being booked good. He was in the Continental Classic, so by
He was being
default, it
used.
means he got like a decent little chunk of TV time, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
Tony Khan was a little more forgiving in that respect. WWE, again, that's why we always say shit doesn't really fly in WWE because shit doesn't really fly in WWE. As for this story about buyer's remorse, this is the type of shit I'm talking about with WWE where it's just kind of like, huh? You
Like what?
you put expectations on Andrade. Now, again, I love Andrade. Andrade has my favorite singles match of all time under his belt
It does.
from TakeOver Philly against Gargano. Okay? So, Andrade's a great performer. I think Andrade. I actually think the world of Andrade. I think he's an. I think he is an I think he's an amazing performer. Again, I really think the world of the guy. You put expectations of Cody Rhodes and CM Punk level on him. That was your first mistake. Realistic expectations. Again,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's just it's mind-boggling to me how you can put that level of expectation on Andrade.
Uh,
Andrade.
he like and with the other part of like the whole English or whatever, if you as WWE was your job to adequate to that problem, quote unquote, and if you wouldn't done it properly, obviously you wouldn't have been to that level of those guys, but you could have got him at a pretty high level than you allowed him to be at the end of the day.
I 100% agree, and the reason I agree is because it's a fact. Because when
Mhm.
what year was that? 2018. It was 2018 Royal Rumble. I will never forget, and I was reminded of it the other day, but I literally remember it because that was one of my favorite Royal Rumbles ever. That was literally one of my favorite Royal Rumbles ever. I think that was the only time me and Sir K hugged after a match. Literally,
Dead
after a
ass,
match,
bro.
we dead ass fucking hugged. We were just in
It was
just
beautiful.
we were in just a state of joy. When Nakamura dumped Roman Reigns over that top rope, and that's wild to think. When Nakamura won the Royal Rumble in 2025, that's a crazy statement, but when he dumped Roman Reigns over the top rope, me and this guy legitimately fucking hugged. It was such a moment of
Like,
joy. Um,
if we were drinkers, we would have been popping bottles at that celebration, man. That
oh,
shit was insane at the time. Like, holy, and Asuka won the women's
bro.
one earlier in the night, dude. That 2018 Rumble was insane. And then it all died on WrestleMania, but that's a different story.
Yeah, it's a completely different story. However, oh god, I hate WrestleMania 34.
Oh.
But anyways, so when Andrade came out, this is my point. When Andrade came out in that match for the Rumble, the pop that man got was nuts. Now, if you
Mm-hmm.
look back to 2018, what was in place that isn't in place in 2025? Well, he just came off having, in my opinion, the greatest singles match of all time, my favorite singles match of all time, Johnny Gargano versus Andrade. What else did he have behind him? He had the NXT Championship. And what are the other two most important things that he had behind him? A, he had good booking, and
Mm-hmm.
B, he had somebody by the name of Zelina Vega by his side. Which brings me to the second thing. There was similar frustration backstage. His English never got better. Really? Don't you
Really?
think that's the point of, I don't know, a manager that can speak for him? Which is even crazier work because this man is being booked by the same guy that booked him
Mm-hmm.
to get a mouthpiece back in NXT. So why doesn't Triple H take the precautionary steps, knowing he does not speak good English, to put him with Zelina Vega? What the
I guess
fuck?
they just fucking expected him to all of a sudden be fluent in pure English. WWE, that's not how it works. P- Second languages are very hard. Like, dog, what?
How could you have expected this man to come out one week on SmackDown, rhyming and diming like he's MF Doom? I mean, what the why did
Like,
you
what?
that's not a realistic expectation. Like, what? And two, like, with that, okay, like, you're upset that his English isn't good. You booked Nakamura as US champion. You book Ray Phoenix on television. You book Pentagon to talk in like backstage segments. Their English isn't good. So what's the difference with them and Stephanie Vaquer? Stephanie Vaquer is probably about to become the new women's world champion. Her
Yeah.
English is kind of broken. So what's the problem with Andrade but not them? I ask.
The real problem is, what is the problem with these ex-NXT folks? Because you don't use any of them properly. Any of them. Like,
Man.
do you have your own vendetta against them? The era of your best booking, Paul? I don't get it.
I don't. I just don't understand. I don't understand, man. And again, to have the expectation of CM Punk and Cody Rhodes is just so fucking delusional to me, man. It is really
Very.
just so delusional to me how you could even think that for a guy like Andrade. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, bro, these are your two top baby faces in the company.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing is, your best era of NXT, the start of that year, the start of that 2018 chunk, your world champion was Andrade. He had banger match with Gargano, and then he had a banger match and a banger story with Aleister Black going in to take over New Orleans.
Yeah. Like,
This, like, so don't you, like, you can't sit there and tell me that it's because of his fucking English is why he didn't work out, because it sure seemed like he worked out in NXT, to me at least.
he most definitely worked out in NXT. I don't know why you didn't just do that same formula on the main roster. It would have been gold. It would have been money, and you just never did it.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And like, like you said, some areas of NXT, he doesn't have like a problem booking these people. Like, if you look at, like, a Kevin Owens or a Sami Zayn, they book good. Finn Balor, I think Triple H thinks he's booking him good. I honestly think I genuinely think he thinks he's like doing a good job with Finn Balor.
6'5".
I have
Mhm.
other things to say about it, but like, Finn Balor is like, I can't say he's booked good, but he's used, right? So, some areas of NXT are booked okay, and then you get to 2018, and it's just like, dude, Andrade, Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa, Asuka. It's like, what? what are we doing? This is your best era of NXT, man. Like, how do you not, again, how do you not at least attempt to recapture that magic with these people? I don't get it. So for this story, you cannot blame Andrade for that, and WWE are half-witted idiots for thinking that he would be on the level of a Cody Rhodes or CM Punk when you did not put him in the position to succeed.
No,
So how could
not
you
in the position at all.
So how could you expect that upon him, man? It just makes no sense to me. However, in terms of the other stories, you can't blame anybody but Andrade for that, man. I'm sorry. I mean, the disciplinary stuff, the wellness policy violation, ghosting them, you can't blame him for any of that stuff, man. But did you have anything more
No,
else to say? Because Gotti has a good question.
he does have a very good question.
Flipping it back to
Mhm.
old NHP. Go ahead and give us your Mount Rushmore, okay? Gotti asks
Dude,
for
I'm still
context. Gotti says, "What is your guys' NXT Mount Rushmore?"
I'm like so bad at Mount Rushmore, dude, because I just put my favorites on there, and like the point of a Mount Rushmore is like the person that did this for this division, whatever. But this list is probably gonna be completely 2018 NXT.
Okay.
I might have to put Gargano, Ciampa, Asuka, and Adam Cole. That might have to be mine.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
It's tough, dude. It's tough because like
The
so
fourth,
many people make sense.
yes. So a lot of people make sense. So
A lot of people.
my personal Mount Rushmore, it's so hard because it's just like, and I do the same thing with like my rap Mount Rushmore. Three names are a
Hmm.
lock, but that fourth name always gets me. It's always like it always fucks me up. The fourth name always fucks me up because it can always interchange for me. However, with NXT, I have three names that are 1,000% lock. Gargano's spot solidified. Nobody's ever touching that. Ciampa
Hmm.
is another one. He's a lock. To me, it's a very, every time I tell people this, they like look at me so sideways because they're like, "What?" To me, Tommaso Ciampa is the greatest heel of all time. Like that era, and I know that's like the most niche answer ever because it's like I get it, but to me, in my opinion, he is my favorite heel of all time. It was so good. Asuka is also a lock. As for the fourth name, there's so many names I could throw in there. The two that come to mind is Bayley and Finn Balor. Just because of how much they did for that brand. And I think like for me, like I don't know, Finn in a lot of ways put the NXT brand on the map in terms of like turning heads for like people to, you know, watch the show, for me, but again, there's so many names that I left out, right? So there's Adam Cole, there's Bobby Roode, there's um Adam Cole, Bobby Roode, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, there a newer name, Obafemi. There's a lot. Personally, as much as I do like a lot of people in, colorful NXT era, they don't touch it for
It'll make it
me.
for me.
Um,
Yeah.
I love Oba, but a lot of these people in newer NXT, Oba and Dragunov are the only ones that kind of come to mind. If you wanted to throw a name in there like Walter, you know what I mean? You could.
Okay.
You can throw a name like Walter in there. You could throw a name like Shayna Baszler around because to me, Aleister Black, to me,
Hmm.
Velveteen Dream, Matt Riddle. There's so many names. I mean, there's so many names that you can that were just so special to NXT, and it's like so important at a time when the brand was at its best, in my honest opinion. So, like, there's so many
Mm-hmm.
names that were crucial, but for me, there's 3 names that are for sure a lock. I'll go ahead and say, and again, the 4th name might change tomorrow, but the 3 names for sure: Johnny Gargano, as you can see by my flag here, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Asuka, and I'll go ahead and say Finn Balor. But like I said, man,
Mm.
so, I wouldn't say,
I wouldn't I wouldn't put him on
nah,
mine personally,
yeah.
but people do love him, and I do really like him. I think he's always better as a baby face most of the time. But overall, I get why people put him on. He wouldn't be on mine personally. That's just personal, but I do get why. He is big enough to be on people's.
Yes, 100%, 100%. But yeah, I mean, for Rollins is, Rollins is like a godfather of NXT, so I could see why people would have him on their NXT Mount Rushmore. For me though, I just think his work, I think his work, I think his work in terms of like everything he's done on the main roster just far eclipses what he did in
Yeah,
NXT. I just feel like his work in NXT is very minuscule, I guess, to what he's done on the main roster. But yes, if you look at a lot of my just wrestling opinions, they're very my opinions are very niche because of NXT, because a lot of
right.
people look at me so sideways because I just talked about my favorite heel being Tommaso Ciampa. Now, don't get me wrong, Roman Reigns is on his ass because
Hmm.
goddamn, Roman Reigns was a great fucking heel, man. But like Ciampa is right here, and Roman Reigns is literally like as close as you can get. And as for baby faces, obviously my favorite baby face of all time is the greatest of all time, is John Cena. But again,
Go.
don't get me wrong, Johnny Gargano is definitely on his ass, bro, because it's just it's just NXT, man. It was so special. It was so special
It
to
was so
it.
special.
It's a time I will never forget. It is truly a time I will never
Truly.
forget. And like, again, you guys see it behind me. You guys see it behind me every week, man. You see this NXT Johnny Gargano flag, and it's like it's so hard because I always say I wish Mount Rushmore had 5 faces on it, because if I talk about my wrestling Mount Rushmore in general, it's Cena, Punk, Bray, and those two. That 4th name, like I said, that
Oh,
4th name is always a toss up, because one day you'll catch me saying Johnny Gargano, the other day you'll catch me saying Roman Reigns. It's very hard. It's very hard, man. Gotti, you thought wrong. He says he always thought my favorite babyface was Damian Priest.
oh
My
man.
favorite superstar at the top of the cut list, come spring cleaning, is Damian Priest. That's the only thing he's
Literally.
at my
If,
favorites of. Oh yeah,
if,
no, I'm glad you called me out on that, Durante. What is going on, Durante, by the way? But I'm glad you called me out on that.
it's all right.
Another NXT name you could throw in there for in terms of influential to the brand. How could you forget Sasha Banks? I don't know how the fuck I forgot
You're
Sasha
good.
Banks. She's, again, pivotal in that brand's development, man. So yeah, it's a lot, man.
It's a lot.
There's a lot of
You
names,
know,
but Gargano, Ciampa, Asuka are a lock for me. Again, I'll go ahead and say Finn Balor with a close with a close Bailey and a close Adam Cole and a close Bobby Roode.
most definitely. I get Bailey. It definitely get Bailey in there 100%. If it wasn't Oscar, it would have been Bailey in that spot.
Yes.
Um, I had to put Adam Cole for the undisputed greatest factor of all time, probably in my opinion. Again, bias,
It's valid.
but
It's a
that's how
valid
wrestling
opinion, though.
is, man. And I think people forget to realize, like, in order for, in my opinion, in order for something in wrestling to be your favorite, you have to have watched it live. Like when people like our age say like, "Oh, this random, 1990 fucking 4 match is their favorite match of all time," I really don't believe them half the time, because the part of wrestling is your live investment at the time
The
of that
moment,
match.
yeah.
And 2018, Andrade versus Gargano, insane investment to my favorite match of all time. And I think that's a very important part of wrestling. And your personal favorite things for wrestling is what you thought was most important at that time
Yeah.
and what stuck with you the most, man. So you have to be biased in wrestling. And Bailey, I do get. I probably say it's a neck and neck tie with her and Becky for the top two horsewomen. Sometimes I think one kind of eclipses the other for a moment of period. But those two just get it, man. Unlike the rest, man. I mean, Sasha/Mercedes is amazing, but Bailey and Becky, those two just get it, bro. They do. They just understand it.
So for I completely agree. I was always, from the day that I watched, and that's like the thing you talk about with like watching things live. It's like for me, like when I got back into wrestling, everybody was like, you got to watch Bailey and Sasha. And I watch it, and I think it's a phenomenal match. I think I think the match is I think it's a historic match. But for me, it will never hit like how it hit for like the people that were watching it live. But I definitely agree. I definitely agree with Gotti's stance. Like I definitely was always a Bailey guy more than a Sasha guy. But like when you talk about watching things live, I always get into that kind of like argument with people, because like people will be like, well, like I was having a conversation with somebody a couple months ago, and we were talking about our favorite eras of television. So I was talking about 2018 NXT, and I was talking about 2016 SmackDown, because I think those are just, in my opinion, like just great eras of television or whatever. We then got on the topic of like factions. And so I obviously said my favorite faction was the Bloodline. And his argument to me was, well, my favorite faction is DX. And I was like, okay, why? Because to me, like, for somebody who didn't watch DX live, like, I was curious to know, like, what makes them your favorite faction? And a lot of people, and like, the answer I commonly get is like, oh, well, they had Triple H, Shawn Michaels, China, Road Dogg, New Age Outlaws, X-Pac. My answer to that would be, yeah, they did, but they didn't, because like the group, that DX group that we see at reunions, that DX group was not the real DX group. Like that group was never together all at the same time. I believe it was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and China. And then there was a completely different era where it was like Triple H, the New Age Outlaws, X-Pac, and I think that was it. But like, to me, a big piece of it, and to me, maybe it's not everything, but to me, it's a big piece of it, is like watching it live. Because again, I could sit here and tell the most random person, you got to watch Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almas, and they may come back and say, damn, that was a really good match. But being like watching TV every week and being invested in that story, and being invested in the story that they were portraying, as like Johnny Gargano being desperate for, to find himself after Tommaso Ciampa turned on him, is like, to me, it's a piece of the story that people won't understand watching the playback of it, if that makes sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's kind of like, again, to bring up my basketball analogy, it's like a lot of times when like people my age hear about like older players, a lot of times we shrug it off because we're just kind of like, oh, like, okay. And it's like, again, but like older people will have different things to say. They'll be like, well, how could you say that about such and such? Like, he was a great shooter. He was a great player. How could you say he is a better shooter than this guy? You never watched him live. But it's like, again, it's like, I don't know. Like it's like the OG argument. Like 100. Like I guarantee you, 20 years from now, I'll be telling my kids about how great of a shooter Klay Thompson was, and they'll be like, "Yeah, okay." Like
Was that?
Klay Thompson. Like I'm sure. And I'm sure their argument will be, "Well, whoever is playing in 20 years is a better shooter than this guy. How could you say that?" But to me, I'm like, bro, you don't know the kind of dog that man was. But and so when I talk about, when I talk about like factions and that kind of stuff, it's like, to me, a big piece of it is being a part of that journey as the story is unfolding every week. And again, I do get why some people's, favorite group would be like a DX or an NWO, because like God, he says, they are cultural they are a cultural influence. But to me, I wasn't a part of that. At least that's how my mind thinks about it. Like, I was never a part of that. I was never a part of that ride live. So like the stuff that DX does and the stuff that the NWO does, I think is really cool. I think it's really cool, and I think it's revolutionary to the business. But to me, the reason why a group like the Undisputed Era, or a reason why the group like the Bloodline will always be at the top of my list, is because I was in that story.
I was
You know what I mean?
watching.
I was
Exactly.
invested every week, seeing what these guys were going to do, watching their antics, or like with the Undisputed, those cool ass backstage promos, and just the synergy between those guys and how they had each other's backs, and it was so fluent, and it was like poetry in motion. And then you look at the Bloodline, and it's the complete opposite. It's a dysfunctional family that were fucking somehow dominant. You know what I mean? Like that's
Hmm.
that like it's awesome, bro. It's like, but to me, it's like, yes, Hogan, Hall, and Nash changed the business, but like, to people in that time, I could see why they would say that. But to
Yeah.
me, it just doesn't hit like that. You know what I mean? So
No.
I hope you guys know where I'm coming from in terms of like just having to be a
Oh
part of
yeah.
that ride, bro. Just having to be a part of that ride, man. But 100%. And Gotti says, like, our kids are going to tell us one day LeBron played against streamers and podcasters. And like, you see the same thing with like a lot of people, a lot of people our age. Like, if you look at like a guy like Wilt Chamberlain, right? Wilt Chamberlain he was an awesome basketball player. He scored 100 points in a game. He was dominant in his era. And a lot of OGs will tell you he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. Like, he was fucking dominant. People our age will tell you he played against people that are plumbers and electricians, come the morning time. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's
Yeah.
just um it's just how it goes, bro. So to me, I definitely tap into that conversation of like, I just don't know, and I just wasn't there. So I would rather give you an opinion on something I'm actually informed on. Even though I know what these guys did for their time, I'm gonna tell you what I know through what I seen from what people and what they did during my time. And to me,
Exactly.
that is, again, that is why you don't really catch a lot of older factions at the top of my factions list. That's why you'll see a lot of Bloodlines, Undisputeds, Wyatt families, Nexus, Shield, right? So just to give you guys a better idea, that was a killer question, Gotti. That was a killer question.
That
you
was a
you
dope
got me
ass
with that one.
question.
That
Thank
was,
you.
you're the man. Yes, that was great. So yeah, Gotti says, as a Roman fan, the Bloodline story will be something I will cherish forever, and thank God they got to see it at
Mm.
WrestleMania 39. Favorite Mania of all time, bro. I'm gonna start that.
Noted.
I'm gonna start that, and I'm gonna be Unk in like 5 years. That's like talking about, or not 5 years is too recent. I'm gonna be Unk in like 10 years, talking about how WrestleMania 39. Let's start the conversation now, please, because I'm gonna be here. WrestleMania 39 is the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Sorry.
100%. 100%.
Sorry, not sorry. So, yeah, Manager Logan is here, and I'll give him the pass for being late, being that he has a lot of he's had a busy week.
Managerial duty.
He's got a lot of
Mm-hmm.
managerial duties. He's been taking very professional DMs all week in our behalf. So there you go, man. So yes. There you go. All right. Moving on here to our second news story. We got okay. We got news on whoa, screen just wants to freeze, I guess. All right. Anyways, we got news on WWE and their ridiculous bag that they are getting from Saudi Arabia. So, the Saudi Arabian government paid WWE a total of $350 million between Royal Rumble 2026 and WrestleMania 43 2027. Let's start with Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble was at $100 million that they gave them as, I guess, what we would call here the site fee that WWE asks for because of all the, tourism they bring to the city. They got $100 million for the Royal Rumble, and for WrestleMania in Riyadh, they were given $250 million. Now, obviously, you may think, wow, that's a lot of money. But to put this into perspective for you, and to make it even worse, even better for WWE, to put this into perspective for you, WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, the site fee that Las Vegas gave them was $5 million.
Holy shit, dude. That is dead ass, dude. But $245 million more dollars for this fucking show. It's insane, dude. It's insane. And all that none of the wrestlers are gonna see. I'm sure most of the production isn't gonna see that money. Sheamus is still gonna come out to his Def Rebel theme, for whatever reason. It's unfortunate, man, because I think a lot of people would be more just whatever with WWE making these levels of money if they spent it back on fan and wrestler experiences, and I think that's one of the big killers with them right now.
100%. 100%. And WWE, man, they are pretty crazy, bro. They are pretty crazy because now don't get me wrong. We all knew Saudi was going to dish this money out. $250 million. Cuz I thought to myself, I wonder what Vegas gave them this year. When I read $5 million, my jaw dropped because I was like, "Oh, they went nuts. They went absolutely nuts on this site fee. $250 million for WrestleMania." Again, like you said, I think this would be a lot better if they charge these ridiculous site fees, for these cities, but their tickets were cheaper.
Yeah.
Man, and things in general were cheaper because, again, if you have a $250 million site fee, you cannot tell me you do not have the money to make your tickets a little bit more affordable, and you cannot tell me you do not have the money to license music for people. You just
Dude,
can't. And you
is-
cannot tell me that you cannot dish some of that 250 million out to a new music composer. For the love of everything, please.
like, dude, that probably cost what? At most, if you want to go crazy with it, 2 to 3 mil a year in your expenses. If you want to go crazy with it,
Yeah.
to what WWE's making, that is literally nothing, dude. Fucking just give Sheamus his goddamn theme song, dude. Like, just give these people their fucking. You can't afford it. People would be less upset with your money hungriness if you reinvested it back in your product, dude. That is the biggest killer. You're giving us this cheaply manufactured fucking McDonald's food, but you're making McDonald's money. It's like, dude, just spend a little bit more money on your own show, and people will not be upset as they are now.
Man. Yeah, Gotti says it perfectly, bro. He says he's praying that this huge Saudi payday lowers the prices
I
for a few
wish.
years. It has to, man, because it is a little ridiculous at this point. And again, I just think the only thing that scares me is that WWE is going to, you know, think that, okay, so because of this big payday from Saudi, they're going to say, like, hey, we want to make in the ballpark of this every year because we did it for Saudi. So what I'm afraid of is they're going to come back to the States and then be like, well, we want to make that Saudi payday, so we got to continue to hike up prices because it's not impossible. We did it before. We did it with Saudi. We got to do it again. That is the only thing that scares me. Because, again, that's not a logical way to think because the Saudi government is willing to dish out anything behind their Riyadh season. Literally, like Bell says in the comments, they put up $400 million to extend a deal for Canelo Alvarez. So it's like they're not afraid to spend money, okay? They are not afraid
No.
and they got the money, right? They got the money and they are
Mhm.
not afraid to dish the bag out. So it's a stupid way to think because you can't hold your American audience and your American cities to dish out that kind of money. But this is TKO, and they're clearly not in the business of thinking logically and thinking for the best interest of their fans. That's the only thing
No.
that scares me. That is the only thing that scares me is they're going to be tone deaf about it, and they're going to want to make that at least close to, in their minds, that Saudi payday. That is the only thing that trips me up.
Literally, man.
So, yeah, I mean, hopefully, man, but I just don't know because again, this is TKO, and we all know how they can, move to the beat of their own drum sometimes, man. So most of the fucking time. So speaking of, I guess, international shows, we talked about Elimination Chamber being in Chicago and how cool that would be, right? And hypothetically, it would be awesome. However, according to Sport Business, they were doing an interview with Nick Khan, and he announced that Italy will host a WWE pay-per-view in early 2026. Sir Kay, I will leave the floor to you because you kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier.
This pay-per-view, if it's early 2026, it has two options. Either Chamber, which is my go-to of what I think it'll be, or Backlash. I wouldn't be shocked they do like doing the international backlashes.
Mm.
Or not Backlash. Wait, is it
It is
Backlash they do right
Backlash.
after
Yes.
Mania? Backlash. They have so many fucking pay-per-view names. Those are the two that I think it's gonna be. More likely, I don't know why I'm feeling Chamber, but I am. But I wouldn't be shocked at Backlash either. It's gonna be one of those two for the Italy show, which I'm excited. Italy, I'm sure it's gonna be a great crowd. I love the shows. I love the start times. I do. But I think it's gonna be one of those two shows for sure.
100%. 100%. I definitely could see that. I definitely could see that. I definitely could see that being the case. Yeah, I could see Backlash, but honestly, the reason I'm leaning more towards Chamber is because they will be in Saudi for the Rumble, and I think they will probably do another international tour leading
That's
up to
probably.
Elimination Chamber. Again, the bias in me would love a Chicago Chamber, but
I would love it.
they definitely like to starve their markets, okay? Unless you're three places. Saudi Arabia, Las Vegas, or fucking Indianapolis, Indiana. So other than that, a lot of times your market is getting starved of a premium live event. So, yeah, but Nick Khan did announce that Italy will host a pay-per-view in 2026. And yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. I don't know why I'm leaning more towards Chamber, but that was the first thing I thought of
Same.
too. But then again, do not come on, Logan. Stop making me wish that they put this shit in Chamber, that they put the
Dude.
Chamber in Chicago.
Oh,
Because now
just get the Chamber, bro.
because now I'm gonna be annoyed when we get that Elimination Chamber Italy graphic. But
Saying I would be so annoyed for something that had no shot of happening in the first place.
but I don't know, man. It is it is going to be interesting to see. It is going to be interesting to see necessarily where it goes. But in saying that, I just have a feeling that it is it will not be headed to Chicago. Unfortunately, I feel like it is going to be Italy. So yeah. Speaking of more international shows, per bodyslam.net, internal discussions have been held regarding holding WWE premium live events in Japan, Mexico, and Spain over the next few years.
Oh yeah.
Two of
I'm
these
very excited.
I'm a little like on limbo with. I have my theories. I feel like WWE for some reason is scared to go to Japan. Because
100%.
I think they're scared to go to Japan. Even like, because when they do go to Japan, when I tell you it is few and far between, I mean, it is few and far between. There's also some type of problem with going to Mexico because AEW always does the same thing. They always love to talk about going to Mexico. And that seems
They
like one of the
never do
most
it.
blatantly obvious places to do, but they never do it. So I don't know if there's like problems like negotiating with the people in Mexico or whatever. I don't know if they're scared to go to Mexico. Maybe, I don't know. Mexico and Japan are always really weird. I think we all know the real reason they're scared to. I think they're scared to. I know they're scared to step on New Japan's turf. I know
yeah.
they're scared to step on 100% with and we all know the reason they're scared to step on New Japan's turf 100%. So I think we all know why, NXT Japan has never happened. We all know why they don't want to step on New Japan's turf. And I don't know. And as for Mexico, I don't know what the problem is there. Maybe there might be some ties with some people in Mexico that might be a little scary for WWE and AEW, but they never want to do Mexico either, man. So as for Spain, Spain's always a great crowd. I think they went to. Yeah, didn't they go
go
to
there
yeah, they
before?
went to Barcelona earlier this year.
They did. They did.
So
They're really fucking good. Fire scene shirt.
they're I don't know, he was on Raw
Wait.
at that point.
Oh, I'm thinking with the other one that started with a B. What was the other one?
There was Scotland, there was Glasgow, Scotland, Brussels, Belgium, and London.
Brussels. I always confuse Brussels for like 5 different fucking places, dude. Um, but
Oh,
yeah,
Gotti.
they're definitely scary.
If they ever
Hmm.
do a show on the island of Samoa, just know that card will
Oh,
just be bloodline riddled up and down.
you you're gonna get fucking every fucking bloodline affiliated member on that show doing separate shit, and they're all gonna win.
100%.
You know it. It'll be
100%.
hilarious, dude. But yeah, Spain sounds great. But yeah, Mexico and Japan are interesting. They don't want to step on New Japan toes at all, man. At all.
No.
You know, CM Punk got shooters in Chicago. New Japan got shooters in the island of Japan. And Mexico is weird. Everybody's always talking about going to Mexico, and they never do. So I hope these two can, eventually happen one day. But I'm on the fence with those two.
For sure. For sure. Hey, man, give me Fatu versus Roman at Mania, bro. Please.
Yeah,
I need it.
exactly, man. Exactly.
But yeah, so that is the news. So we've been hearing a lot of names. It seems like WWE just wants to go everywhere. I think a couple weeks ago, we heard China was a spot they wanted to go. So I don't know what they got going on, but hopefully they can get it together sooner rather than later. Well, speaking of Japan, moving on to a Japanese superstar that is probably the most washed up individual I've ever seen. Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh.
Shinsuke Nakamura, according to PW Insider, is expected to appear on tonight's SmackDown in Toledo after being spotted by fans earlier.
Oh, did you want to take a guess where he was spotted? Or what he was spotted, probably going to be involved with?
Oh no. Do I even want to guess? Oh god. Is it like somebody he's going to be involved with?
It's the U.S. title. He was spotted looking at Sami Zayn in the back with the U.S. title. Like, Sami's doing the Open. I'm sure Nakamura is going to be the challenger tonight.
You got to be fucking kidding me, man.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
that's just great, man. I mean,
it's
it's gonna be a classic.
it's
It's
it
gonna be a throwback, but like,
yeah, it's Sammy versus Knock, but it's also not 2016, so like I just get this washed up guy
9 years
out of here,
later.
bro. I'm sorry, man. Get It's not 2018 anymore, man. It's not 2016. Who gives a shit? I mean, are you serious, man? This is the open challenge guy, knock a fucking Mora. I don't really care to see him. That's a buzzkill. I don't know. It's Nakamura. What am I supposed to say, man? It's just Nakamura. Um, yeah. So that's the news. In case you guys were excited to see Wash Demora wash himself up onto your television screen again. So, speaking of SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton, according to Uncle Dave on The Observer, Tiffany Stratton is reportedly injured after she did not get cleared after SmackDown. Dave goes on to say, Lyra is replacing Tiffany because Tiffany apparently did not get cleared after SmackDown, and the most likely spot was the moonsault off the top, or the moonsault off the top in the championship match with Jade Cargill, where she smashed her head off the ground. So this
Did you see
means
that spot?
she is hurt. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah, they
Appreciate you,
bashed
Dave.
her fucking head in. I think she might be hurt. No shit, Dave. Bro, did you see that spot?
Yes, it looked bad.
Bro, that ass just walked away while she was fucking doing the moonsault. Good lord.
Man. Yeah. Yeah, the spot looked very bad. Again, she clunked her head off the ground, and then she couldn't even work NXT Homecoming, so they had Lyra do it instead. This sucks because apparently she was supposed to be on WrestlePalooza. Apparently there was like a shirt that they released that had Jade versus Tiffany versus Nia on the shirt. So you have that with Jade with Jade, Tiffany, and Nia that was supposed to be on the show. That fucking sucks because obviously now they're not. Hopefully we get some clarification tonight on SmackDown. Hopefully everything ends up being okay and their match does get added. Maybe they were just doing it as a precautionary thing because, you know, WWE does not play around with their concussions. So I hope everything's okay. Hope it's not serious enough to where she has to relinquish the championship or anything like that, man. But it definitely does suck, and I hope Tiffany ends up being okay, man, because yeah, that spot looked pretty bad.
It did. It looked really bad. I hope she's good. It sucks she has to miss this match, and hope everything ends up working out.
For sure. So, with that, we got news on, well, I guess keeping up with the women's division. We have news on the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez. According to BodySlam.net, as of recently, sources indicated that there haven't been any discussions about a Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan feud upon Morgan's return.
So what's the point here?
Are you ready? You want me to tell you? You want me to tell you what the point is?
Please don't even tell me what the point is, but go ahead. I need to hear it anyway.
They're not going to feud just right yet. They are going to stand in the back and give each other dirty looks for 3 months. No, 3 months. I think I'm being too generous.
You're being generous. 7.
I think that is even still generous. They are going to give each other dirty looks for 11 months until she ends up putting that thing on Dominic Mysterio and then finally gets Liv Morgan to trip out, because that's what happened with Liv, right? Liv was following, you know, she's in the back fucking putting it on Dom in the locker room and stealing his jacket, and he's risen her up against the wall and shit for like however long it was until Dominic finally says, fuck it, I'm gonna go the other way. But that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen here. Roxanne is going to be in the Judgment Day. She's going to be giving Liv Morgan dirty looks. Liv's not going to like her because, you know, all this other tomfoolery and, they lost the tag titles. You lost the tag titles, and you know, you're getting close to Dom, and now everybody in the group likes you and they hate me. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then they will finally turn on each other, and then we will have to wait until somebody else comes in to kick Roxanne out of the group. And it's going to be a whole nother thing. There's also going to be another side story where Raquel starts to like Rox more than she likes Liv, and then that's going to do a whole nother thing with all the dirty looks, and
I'm so fucking scared for her to come back, dude.
You know,
Judgment Day are gonna get more TV time.
Yes. What it's like, Wyndham was a poet, man. Life is a circle, and that cannot ring more true for the Judgment Day, because
that is
this is literally just a circle, except it's not a poetic circle. It's not something that just rhymes together, man. This is a circle that just keeps going and going and going and going, and you just don't care about it anymore. It's just the same story, just recycled with new people. Like, dude, how many females is it gonna take before they all just figure out that Dom is a hoe? I mean, what the fuck?
Like,
Bro's just a thought. That's just his gimmick. I mean, Like,
It's not that hard to come to the conclusion, bro. Like, what are you doing here, man? He's literally Guerrero incarnate, bro. What do you think, man? So, I'm dreading it. It's gonna be a fucking another year and a half of Judgment Day. So, strap in, man. It's gonna be fun and exciting.
yeah, fun and exciting. Um, you gotta love you gotta love, you gotta love the Roman Reigns, the Roman Reigns indefinite injury. Can't tell you how many times he's had an indefinite injury. This guy's got to be this guy's ankles have got to be like Derrick Rose's ankles at this point. I mean, it's just ridiculous out here.
It's gotta
Um,
be.
so so but yeah, that is the news on the Judgment Day, as it seems the circle will continue. Speaking of the Judgment Day, for some reason, their homie, El Grande Americano, seems to be in line for a big push. Yay.
Oh fuck. Oh my
According...
god. I mean,
Go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead. Just do the story.
Okay.
We all know what it means.
So, sources
But
indicate WWE and a major food/beverage company have been in discussions about a promotional sponsorship and dual branding agreement tied to El Grande Americano. Americano could be in for a bigger role if this endorsement winds up happening.
yeah.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man.
What, what, what brand is this? Watch El Grande Americano in his Starbucks El Grande Americano. Like, is that what it's gonna fucking be? Some stupid shit like that we're gonna have to fucking see 3 of these motherfuckers on TV for? Oh man.
Personally, I do not really care for it. I don't really care for the gimmick anymore. I actually did like it. I was never
Well,
over the moon for it, but I liked it with Chad Gable. I thought Gable's just the man. I can't complain about Chad Gable, but like, I just don't. I think WWE, once they gave it to Kaiser, they were like, man, this is awesome. And
it's
when
a thing we can
WWE
do.
says yes, and when WWE says something is awesome, it ends up being not awesome anymore. Because yeah, you obviously got to take into account, like, now they've added 2 other Grande Americanos. In terms of like the endorsement deal, I can't necessarily blame WWE for that. It's honestly just them looking out for the best interest of, I guess, the marketing for the character, regardless on how much I like it or not. You know, they would be stupid not to take, because there's a lot of, Mexican based brands that they can do, right? They can they can do Modelo, they can do Starbucks with the Grande, they can do Taco Bell, like Gotti says. So there's a lot of funny stuff they can do to market El Grande Americano. Personally, I just liked it better with Chad Gable.
Mhm.
Just me. Mhm.
Yeah, well, my explanation, I think it was, I don't know if it was this unscripted or like last unscripted, whatever it was. I like the Gable one better because you actually had a dynamic on television of someone being like, oh, this is who you are. And, Chad Gable is him, but he pretends to not be him.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it was like actually like a little bit fun on television. And the Kaiser version just completely has none of that. So
Yeah.
that's what just kills the gimmick for me. I thought that was the whole point of the gimmick, and you don't get any of that with the Kaiser version, which just to me, I just don't care.
So I do miss a lot of the times, like, Gable would be in the back, and then like Adam Pearce would say something like you know is El Grande Americano here tonight? And then, Brutus, because he's the stupid one in the group, he would be like, yeah, of course, Master Gable's here tonight. And then Gable would look at him and be like, shut up. Like, what? Like, what?
Hmm.
Like, it's stuff like that, like, I do miss with El Grande. And then, like, I don't know. I just like Gable's version better. Personally, but that's just me. But in terms of the sponsorship, I do get, they could do El Grande Americano Tajín. You know what I mean? They can do a
Cholula.
yeah, like, they can they can do a lot. And I can't necessarily blame them for that. It's just, to me, I don't know. The gimmick's just a
I
little
just don't care.
overplayed at this point for me.
Yeah.
So that is the news on El Grande Americano, and El Grande Americano's best friend, believe it or not, Gunther. He is to think that man was in Imperium. And now he's El Grande
That's
Americano.
crazy.
And he literally was Gunther's best friend. He literally is
He
Gunther's
was.
best friend.
Exactly. They literally are. That's fucking hilarious.
So, with that, according to Uncle Dave, he says Gunther is reportedly expected back very soon.
Thanks. Thanks, Big D.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for that information. I would assume, I would assume, but thank you for the clarifications.
Yep. Thank you, Unc. I appreciate
Lord.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Unc has always given us the most detailed descriptions known to man, and today he says that Gunther is expected back very soon. Thank you, Uncle Dave. Thank you so much. I love that for you. I love that you were able to put this piece of news out and really inform people, to a deep level. I really appreciate that. However, Uncle Dave, Uncle Dave says what I pretty much assumed was going to happen, because everybody was, very worried, I guess, when Gunther got hurt. But we were saying from day one, he's going to be back. He's going to be the one to retire John Cena. They want that Gunther Cena match. And December 13th is going to be a night to remember, and Gunther will be the guy standing across the ring from the greatest of all time, and that is going to be fucking awesome. That is going to be awesome, man.
Sick.
So, yeah. Gunther is expected back very soon, as I think we all expected, man. So I am happy to have the man back.
Most definitely. Very happy and excited to have that man back.
So, we got news on, let's see, cut that. Okay, I think, well, this is sort of a WWE related story. It's a WWE and TNA story. So, my little pen isn't working, so I just have to eyeball this today so I know what stories we already did and didn't. So, according to the takedown on Sports Illustrated, Joe Hendry is reportedly still under contract with TNA, but is in the process of being largely phased out of TNA programming. The internal expectation across people in both companies is reportedly that he will be with WWE on a full-time basis by the start of 2026. No.
No way, dude. No way, man. WWE working with a company and taking their talent? Who would have guessed, man? Who would have guessed? I mean, this is fucking, they said it like a year ago that this was the fucking plan. So, not shocked at all, man. Actually, I'm pretty interested to see how Hendry does in WWE full time. I wonder if he'll hit NXT first, if he'll hit the main roster first. Very curious to see how all that goes down. I like him. I think he's, a fun addition to the show. And this is a very obvious play.
So, Joe Hendry is an interesting case to me, because I feel like WWE kind of jumped on his bandwagon because his stock was very high. His stock definitely isn't as high as it once was in terms of like I guess just fan investment. I feel like obviously he was more over at one point. Like last year in I think it was like June when he first debuted in NXT, he was hot. All you fucking heard around the wrestling space was Joe Hendry. So, I'm interested to see how WWE is going to capitalize on that or how they're going to piggyback off of that because I like Joe. I think he's okay. A lot of his in-ring stuff isn't very impressive, but that doesn't mean he's not a bad wrestler. He's very over with the audience, and a lot of times that's sometimes what you need more than just being a good wrestler. So I like Joe. I like Joe a lot, but I'm interested to see how WWE is going to go about treating him because, obviously, they did not create the Joe Hendry stuff. So I'm interested to see if things are going to get changed about him and if they're going to change anything about him. I think the name and the song should be okay, which are the big things. But I'm interested to see how they treat his momentum because it definitely isn't as high as it once was, but that's not to say that he's, dead in the water right now or anything. Because clearly he's being fizzled out for a reason, and it's because TNA doesn't want to put any stock in the guy because they know where he's going, which is a smart move by TNA, but then it also isn't because they still work with WWE, so I'm sure he'll still appear on TNA television, but I don't know what that's about. But yeah, Joe Hendry is coming to WWE in early 2026, and I feel like they will put him in NXT, and I am just very interested to see how they will capitalize on using the guy.
Very intrigued to see how all that goes down.
So, yeah. And with our final WWE story here today, before we move on to the AEW stuff, we got news on WrestlePalooza. This is from Fightful. An ESPN executive claims that WWE WrestlePalooza scheduling has less to do with wrestling competition and rather competition everywhere. Oh, brother.
I hate this company, dude. Who? I would love to be talking to that person because I would ask, okay, who? What is your competition then? What is it? I mean, you can't say AEW because that's what it is. What is it? Is it what would he even be on a random Saturday? You know what I mean? Besides like maybe a random nothing baseball game that no one's gonna ever choose over. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
no one is your competition except you make AEW your own competition when they are not. Makes no sense.
So he gives a just wonderful explanation here. I definitely didn't think this was bullshit at all. But he says, we work collaboratively with WWE on schedule. In this particular case, many of their events had already been scheduled. On some level, WWE is scheduling throughout the rest of the year, throughout the rest of 2025. There have been a number of dates already on the calendar. In this particular case, we were laser focused on launching WWE. We knew we wanted to have a marquee WWE event in September to support the launch of ESPN's direct-to-consumer offering, as JT mentioned before, so it really had less to do with any particular wrestling competition. In fact, we take a holistic view. We know there's competition everywhere, and certainly in the fall on Saturdays. I don't need to explain to this group, there's no shortage of college football competition throughout the day, right? We're in the teeth of the football season now, so we welcome competition. Blah, 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 blah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they move Monday Night Raw an hour up to stop or to maybe make their situation a little better around football.
They did, even though I guess football also moved it to 6 o'clock, so they just got screwed
Ah,
over. Which is, you know what, good on them. But it's
that
like,
didn't work.
dog, like most times fans are gonna choose one or the other. They're either gonna choose whatever, whether it's F1, college football, whatever it is. If they're a fan of those things, they're most likely choosing it over your show, and they are choosing it over your show because your shows have been very weird lately, man. You haven't been doing yourselves any favor. You did it to compete with AEW. You did it to kill all the all-out momentum that it could have had. Like, come on, man.
Like, dude, who are you
We all
bullshitting?
know.
Who are you bullshitting, bro? It's like it makes no sense to me, man. Stop trying to act like AEW is not the reason you did September 20th. Because, bro, we've
Literally.
literally read reports that you want to control the headlines. So, what better way to control the headline than to completely step on their shit? It makes no sense. And again, I ask, who? Who are you bullshitting, bro? Who are you bullshitting? And I hate to break it to you, football has a massive, massive audience
Massive.
compared to wrestling. I mean, it trumps a
Oh,
wrestling
yeah.
audience. It trumps it. So like
It
you
murders.
you going up against college football, do you know how die-hard people are for college football? Do you honestly think people are going to say, ah, shit, I'm going to watch WrestlePalooza over, like, legitimately, if you asked a wrestling fan that just so happened to be the most diehard of diehard college football fans, which show he is watching, I guarantee you they will tell you they will catch WrestlePalooza on the replay. I guarantee it.
Exactly. Because, like you said, those, like, if you're a hardcore sports fan, that is what you fucking care
Yes.
about. You're not choosing a wrestle. Now, if it was like a Mania, okay, you have a leg to stand on. It's one of their big shows. If it's Rumble, Mania, people might choose those because they're the big special shows. No matter how much WWE is making WrestlePalooza, it's special to wrestling fans, with AJ Lee and whatnot. It's not special to sports fans. If you're choosing your hobby, F1, football, whether it's college or NFL, whatever it may be, you're always choosing that shit over WWE. Fans are always gonna do that.
Yeah. Uh I I don't get it. Typical WWE with the most just bullshit of bullshit excuses as to why they are willingly wanting to compete with football all of the sudden. Meanwhile, literally every even when Vince was in charge, when football comes on, they get scared of it. So now you want to compete? Okay, okay.
Fucking A.
So I don't get it, bro. I do not get it. However, that is it for your WWE stories here today. That is it for your WWE stories here today. As before we move on to the AEW stuff, we have an official word from our sponsor here at NHP, W Energy. W is an energy drink loaded with vitamins and nootropics formulated to improve focus without getting the jitters. W is a clean formula that is sugar-free, 0-calorie, free from fillers and artificial colorings with 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving. You can get your W products today with the link below and code NHP at checkout to save yourselves 10% on your next W purchase.
Truly, always got to shout out W, whether workout, whatever you may need the energy for. It's going to be a big day tomorrow. 2 back-to-back pay-per-views, gotta love it. If you want to stay up, stay focused, not have the jitters, and have it taste good all at the same time, rely on W. Try W. It won't let you down. Never let us down. Always got to shout out W.
Sir K always does have to shout out W because We never know what this guy's locked in about, bro. But with that being said,
If you were going to be locked in like me, get some W.
nobody's locked in. I can assure you, nobody's locked in like Sir K, bro. So, with that being said, shout out and always thank you to the great people over at W, the official sponsor of what we do here at Notorious Heels. So, with that being said, we got some news on AEW. So, Tony Khan recently did some interviews, and he was on an AEW, this one, he was on a media call, not an interview. And Tony Khan has expressed interest in running an event while WWE is in Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania 43. He revealed that AEW will be running a big show in the spring of 2027.
I respect it.
Yeah.
It's a good move. I think it's a good move. That I think a lot of American audience will be slighted at that time, around that time with the Saudi show. I think it's a smart move, man. Do your own show, make it big around that time, and give American audience a show to go to and enjoy. Because they don't get WrestleMania, we don't get WrestleMania. So I think it's a smart move, and I think it's a very good and tactical move by good old Tony Khan, man. He's finally making some good business decisions over here. Look at that. Only took him 6 years.
So, personally, this is about as smart as you can get. That is an absolutely genius move. Now, like Logan says, do not run the same weekend as WrestleMania, but bro, a week, 2 weeks after, that's perfect, because that's, or 2 weeks before, whatever. Probably personally do after. I would 100%. I would do a big stadium show, and I would do it somewhere. I would do it big. I would do it big because Booker T also talked about this on his podcast. Like, a lot of people are upset about, like, there's going to be no WrestleCon because it's in Saudi. So, like, a lot of independent people, independent wrestlers, a lot of wrestlers that don't work in WWE. I think a lot of AEW people do like meet and greets at WrestleCon because you're invading a market where a lot of wrestling fans are at. So a lot of wrestling fans are going to want to indulge in this kind of thing. Also, too, a lot of independent companies run shows the weekend that, and the location as to where WWE runs, because you're in a wrestling market right now. You're in a market that is clogged with a bunch of smelly wrestling fans. So, like, it makes sense. So, like, Tony Khan to do this move is genius. Because WrestleCon, again, isn't going to be happening. But now, with this, it gives it a opportunity to happen. It also gives independent companies a weekend to build around, because they don't have that in 2027. And then, obviously, for your American audience, it makes the most sense, because you're going to have a lot of people who are not traveling to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania. Nobody's doing all that, right? So instead of doing that, a lot of people are going to assess the situation and maybe be like, man, well, I didn't get to go to Mania this year. Well, let me check out this big AEW stadium show in Chicago or Los Angeles or New York, because I didn't get Mania this year. So I'm going to tap in and see what AEW's doing. It's a brilliant move. And it's something Tony Khan could do that personally I think is nice for the fans. I think it's nice for the fans. And I think and I actually think that's a really solid thing for him to do. And not only is it a solid thing for him to do for the fans, it's a smart thing to do for his business. So it makes sense.
Well, 100%. I'm excited to see what they do. Definitely do it after WrestleMania weekend because,
Yeah.
especially that Saudi show, from what we're hearing, that could be a very mixed bag of quality on that WrestleMania. So if you do a banger show a week or two after, you'll just look all the better.
Yes. And then when people get done watching that, obviously we'll know the result of WWE. So people
Mm-hmm.
could be like, man, that was
You
my
put out a better.
WrestleMania.
Exactly. Do that, and I think you'll have a very successful time in the spring of 2027.
100%. And speaking of Tony Khan and his business strategy, Tony Khan responded to his strategy behind WWE's price hiking. So during the All Out media call, Tony Khan was asked directly about raising ticket costs in the industry and whether AEW could be a more affordable option for fans feeling priced out. Whoever asked that was a great question. Why can't we get these people at the regular media scrums? So Tony Khan goes on to say AEW's ticket pricing is designed to be very family friendly. It has been that way since the very beginning. Everybody who's been involved with AEW, who's been involved in AEW from the start, will tell you that we always wanted to maintain affordable ticket prices for the fans, and particularly to bring families and young fans to the show and make it accessible for fans for all backgrounds and all ages. Tony Khan's comments came 2 days after TKO President Mark Shapiro stated WWE will not be lowering ticket prices anytime soon, and in fact, they may go up even more. Speaking at the Goldman Sachs Communications and Technology Conference, Shapiro said that WWE is still behind UFC in terms of profitability per fan and called out Vince McMahon's past family-focused pricing model. He says Vince McMahon, and we read this last week, Shapiro said that Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families and wasn't totally focused on maximizing the opportunity to increase tickets. What are your thoughts on this? I know you got a lot to say. What are your thoughts on this? And how do you feel about Tony Khan saying that and leaning into, AEW being focused on bringing fans of all backgrounds, and all ages and families and all that type of things to his shows?
I think it's good. I think it's good. It's something AEW always has been good at. There was that weird period where they were getting a little bit pricey in like 2023
Yeah.
for whatever reason. But overall, AEW for the most part has always been good with ticket prices. I mean, what the fuck was our first dance tickets? Was it 70 a pop or was it 70 in total?
It was 70 a pop. So, with fees and everything, it was maybe like 85,
Like
$90.
$90 to have good, very good seats
Very
that
good.
we were seeing on camera too to witness the CM Punk return to wrestling. AEW, you could say a million things about AEW and their television, but one thing you can say is that they're affordable to go to. I would always see whenever we would go, you would see families out the ass at AEW shows because you could afford to take a group of people to one of those shows, man. That's a good thing. And especially now with the way WWE's operating, it's a very good thing that Tony Khan smartly is doubling down on. I think for a little while they were putting in their like dynamite graphic of, affordable ticket prices or whatever the fuck. Do it. You can't afford shit in terms of live media nowadays. You can't go to a concert. You can't go to a WWE show. You can't do nothing. So the fact that you could go to an AEW show, buy the tickets, get some merch, not be broke at the end of the weekend is a very good thing and is a very marketable thing that I think Tony Khan is smart for going into, and he should. And I think it's good. And for WWE, they're gonna maximize prices. Vince, man, he cared about the families. What a shitty businessman. We're here to maximize the ticket prices. And you're gonna keep maxing it and maxing it and maxing it until they aren't bought anymore. And then you're gonna be scratching your head and probably blame Triple H for booking of why you won't be getting ticket sales in 2 years. Um, so we're gonna get to that point. WWE is gonna get to that point, in my opinion, where they're gonna maximize it too much. They're gonna. I mean, they already sometimes do it. You'll hear about them, tarping off sections at the top of an arena because they're not getting enough ticket sales, but they're making enough money because the tickets they are selling are just so damn expensive. And that's going to continue and continue until they blame Triple H for booking is the reason why fans aren't going to these shows, man. I know that's exactly what's going to happen, man. So it's unfortunate for WWE. They're pricing everybody out, not just families, fucking individual human beings that work a normal job at this point, man. So it's very unfortunate. But AEW, that's a good strategy. Keep that up because that's always a good thing that's going to attract people. You got this one expensive thing, and you got this thing you could go to where it's a little bit of a different experience, but you could actually afford to go to it. People will do that. I think it's smart for Tony Khan, and it's very dumb for WWE. But what about you? What do you think about this, man?
So I personally have had friends that watch WWE but opted to go to an AEW show just because the tickets were way cheaper. So one of my buddies is familiar with AEW, but he doesn't necessarily like watch AEW. And his friend wanted to go to a wrestling show. So one day, on a Wednesday, this was maybe like a year and a half ago, I get a text from him and he's at Dynamite, and Dynamite was in Indianapolis, Indiana that night. So I was like, what the fuck are you doing at Dynamite? Like, I know you're familiar with AEW. Like, I know you know what AEW is, but like, why are you at AEW? Like, you're mainly are really familiar with WWE. And he told me like, well, the WWE tickets when they're coming into town are $300 to $400. Like, this ticket was $20. I was like, oh, okay, well that makes sense now. So AEW is very smart for that because a lot of people will opt to go to AEW shows. Now, obviously, WWE is still going to get a shit ton of people. They're still going to get a shit ton of kids to go to the show. But a lot of kids that want to go to a wrestling show will grow up with a very fond memory of AEW. And a lot of times, that's some of the best wrestling memories ever is your childhood nostalgia. Like, for me, I wasn't able to go to a lot of wrestling shows when I was a kid because, WWE shows for the type of household I grew up in were still too expensive. So like obviously we couldn't go to a lot of shows. We not a lot at all, but like it's a lot of times for a kid, that childhood nostalgia is everything. And a lot of kids will get to experience a lot of AEW shows because they're cheaper. They will have a lot of very cool childhood nostalgia about AEW and about AEW performers. And that's a really good thing. That's something to really, hone in on and focus in on, being family friendly because WWE, and we used to say this all the time with Vince, and somehow it's gotten even fucking worse. WWE sometimes is so focused, especially with TKO, they're so focused on the business. They don't quite understand what makes professional wrestling. And it's that home feel. It's that feel of inviting people that we watch on TV every week into your living room. It's like, I don't like to use the term household name because household name is not everybody's name. Like,
Subjective.
yeah, but like to a wrestling fan, these people are household names to us. Now, again, they're not household
Mhm.
names to half the fucking world because a lot of people don't really know wrestlers like that. But like to a wrestling fan, we invite these
Yeah.
people in our homes as household names. We get invested in their stories. It's that kind of thing, right? So like they don't understand that. And they don't understand that like people people would love to make it out to these shows. People would literally love to make it out to these shows, man, but people just can't. And they don't care. And that's what annoys me about TKO. And that's, like Gotti says a lot of times, bro, after a PLE, hell, after a Raw or a
Oh yeah.
SmackDown, you're fucking
You're
broke
broke.
afterwards because it's just, it can be to the point where it is just too much. It's unmaintainable. It's unaffordable. So in terms of AEW strategy, I obviously think it's a very smart thing to do. AEW tickets sometimes can be dirt cheap, but if that is what works for them and if they still are profitable, then that's what works for them and that's what they like to do. And AEW's obviously gotten a lot bigger and, a lot more profitable, and the fact that they've remained humble with that is something that has to be respected, in my opinion, because a lot of people wouldn't do that. A lot of people would be family friendly, affordable for the first couple of years, and then just go completely balls to the walls with it. And, look at what WWE did. Gotti told us last week he paid $200, 100 a night for WrestleMania 39. And what do? Their product gets hotter. They keep raking in more cash. And what do? They slap their fans in the face and completely shoot the prices through the roof to the point where nobody can afford
Mhm.
them. To me, obviously, are you maximizing your profits? Sure, you're maximizing your profits, but it's a slap in the face to your fan bases. And that's a great way to get a lot of people to turn over to the AEW shows if they happen to put on a good card. It is because
Mhm.
they're just more affordable, man. They're just more affordable. And no matter how you feel about it, man, a lot of people just can't afford it. And that's just the cold hard truth. A lot of people just cannot afford it, so they will opt to go to the AEW show instead because they can, bring their kids out for a fun night out on the town to, grab a bite to eat and then go to Dynamite, or bring your buddies to the show and you guys can have a fun night watching a banger card that AEW put together, rather as just something fun to do rather than spending, all of you guys got to spend a bag, whether you're bringing the family or whoever to a show. It's just, it's inhumane. And it's just, again, it's typical TKO, bro. You see it with UFC. They don't give a shit about you. They just want celebrities at their shows. That's
Yep.
that's what they
That's
want.
all I want.
So yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think it's very smart from Tony Khan, and I think he needs to continue to. I think he needs to continue to do that because I think that is something that is going to be very pivotal. I think that's something that's going to be very pivotal in the way that things are in AEW and the way that younger fans are going to grow up having AEW type memories. So that's just how I feel about it. But there you go.
Mhm.
So yeah, that is
What's up?
that. And with that, we got news on Claudio Castagnoli for some reason.
God himself.
Literally. So according to Fightful Select, sources in AEW say that Claudio is still has a substantial amount of time left on his contract, and Tony Khan has made it pretty clear he wants Claudio to be there for a long time. This comes after speculation of Claudio coming up to or what is does he have an injury right now or something? Is it?
I genuinely have no clue. He might be injured, but I don't know. I genuinely, I'm assuming an injury.
So he's got something going on with him, and it's led people to believe that his contract was coming up. My only question is, I never believed his contract was coming up, first of all. And second of all, the way Tony Khan books this man, like he is a Spartan, like he is a just god. Did you think he is going? Do you honestly think his contract is coming up and he is being booked like that? Because if you did, then I don't know what to tell you. Because I never got that vibe. And I think the linchpin is here to stay. And I am very happy to see Claudio stay in AEW. I think he fits there. They use him phenomenally. This man is literally booked as if he is 2020 Roman Reigns. So they love Claudio. I love having Claudio there. I don't mind seeing Claudio Aura farm for a long time in AEW. It's actually one of my favorite parts about the show, seeing how he's going to Aura farm this week. So I don't know. That's how I feel about it. I'm happy to see him stay.
100% happy to see him stay. I think he fits better. I think he's used better in AEW, and I think, and obviously, I think he'll stay.
So we got news on another contract in AEW as well. Timeless Tony Storm. So, speaking on the Sandman podcast, Storm pulled back the curtain on her contract status and future in All Elite Wrestling, revealing she's locked in. Sounds like Sir K. She's locked in with All Elite Wrestling for the long haul and has zero interest in working anywhere else. She says, when I'm done wrestling, you'll never see me again. That's it. I'm done. You won't see me in another capacity or in another company. This is AEW exclusive, and when it's over, I will vanish. There's no encore. This run is it. I'm not doing anything else. Storm confirmed she signed a 5-year deal with AEW back in March of 2022, which puts her contract expiration around March of 2027. But don't expect any of the usual free agency drama from her. She says, where would I go? What would I do? I'm on a long-term deal with AEW. I basically signed my life to AEW. How much time do I have left? I'm on a 5-year deal. I can't remember exactly how long, but I'm a lifer for AEW. There's no we'll see what happens. Storm has been one of the key faces of the AEW Women's Division since debuting and currently holds the AEW Women's World Championship. But according to her, when her contract ends, so does her career. Which, Tony, let's see. Let me see. Okay, so Tony. Oh yeah, I don't think. Okay, so Tony is only 29 years old. So that is wild. Tony is only 29 years old. She said obviously her contract is up in 2027. And I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot can change in 2 years. I don't think when this contract is up, she is done. How do you feel about her, man, saying that she's pretty much a lifer in AEW and essentially the elephant in the room, she ain't going back to WWE? How you feeling about that?
Very interesting. You know, wrestling's always never say never. I think a lot of people do have this mentality. Where, you know, things can always change. Booking can always differ. It can always change, man. I think she will overall stay with AEW if I'm predicting. But, you know, in wrestling, you can never say never, man. So I'm sure at some point she'll be looking at WWE, and you know how it goes. But overall, she likes AEW. It's good that people like working in AEW, and I think it's just something that I'll see with time. But what about you?
So obviously, it is a situation, like you said, it is a situation like, you know, CM Punk said he'd never go back to WWE. Cody said he'd never go back to WWE. So it's one of those. However, Tony Storm has AEW to thank for a lot. And I think that she knows that, and I think she's very grateful for AEW because let's not forget, WWE literally almost made this woman retire. They
Mm-hmm.
demoralized her so much to the point where she genuinely almost retired. Ended up signing with AEW, and in my opinion, became a fucking star. And in my
Literally.
opinion, is up there for the best women's wrestler on the fucking planet. I mean, she is that girl, bruh. She is literally that girl. She's a dog, right? We all know Toni Storm, man. We all know Toni Storm, right? No introduction needed, bro. She's literally, what can you say other than she's just that girl, bruh? She's a monster. But in saying that, I think that's good that AEW does have these people that at least now
Mhm.
love the company and have the company's best interest at heart. That's all you can ask for in wrestling, is that kind of stuff and a little bit of loyalty, right? We see the same kind of talk from like a Swerve, and now we hear the same kind of talk from like a Toni Storm. So again, never say never, but never say never, and that is valid. But at the same time, for now, I'm very happy that AEW has people like that they can count on and that can back the company through, you know, through anything. Through anything, man. It's something it's something that Tony Khan should be very grateful for. And props to Tony Khan. I think he's done a phenomenal job with handling Toni Storm since her near retirement.
Exactly. He has. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's a very good thing that people like love working for AEW. You need people like that. And it's very good to have.
And so, you know, a lot of people do say, and I've even said it before, AEW is a place where, you know, people's careers die, right? And so, with a lot of people, that can be true. But but like, to to be 100% fair about it, there's a lot of people where if it wasn't for AEW, their career would have died, right? If you look at people that have come over like a Cody Rhodes, right? AEW helped Cody Rhodes out tremendously. John Moxley. We make fun of the Death Riders all fucking day. Somehow they have a ridiculous amount of aura. They're just booked like shit. But John Moxley, man's career would have died if it wasn't for AEW. Swerve Strickland, man's career would have died if it wasn't for AEW. Toni Storm, career would have died if it wasn't for AEW. Now, for every one of them, you have your Adam Coles and your Keith Lees and your Malachi Blacks and all that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But you know, it would be unfair to say they do that with everybody. Because again, a lot of people, if it wasn't for AEW, their career would be dead, right? But they've done a great job at giving Toni Storm the tools she needs to succeed and putting her in the best spots to succeed. And again, in my opinion, she's became a star out of it, and she has probably been the greatest woman to ever grace the AEW championship and that AEW women's division. So
Exactly.
yeah, that is that. And now we have, let's see. Okay, yes, this is our last story here today before we move on to these predictions. As we got this news on Dax Harwood. According to Dax himself, he reveals that he suffered a broken nose during AEW Dynamite. However, he won't be missing All Out. He said he had an x-ray today. To the shock of no one, I have a severely broken nose. Unfortunately for Christian and Copeland, I'll still be there. No way I'm missing out on this match. I'm going to embarrass you. Okay, at this point, these wrestlers cannot say that the fans do not care about them. because nobody asked you to do this. However,
No,
again,
literally no one's asking you, but okay.
if you want to do it, that's up to you. Now, again, a broken nose isn't really the worst thing. Like, a lot of people
Yeah,
do contact sports with broken nose, so, you know, it's not like he's going out there with like a broken neck or anything, but like, just saying, don't throw it back in our face on Twitter when, you know,
you're
you
doing
get
this.
upset. Yes. Now, again, I admire your efforts to go out there and perform. I admire it. It's a very, I'm sure it's a very tough thing to do. I admire it. But I'm just saying, a lot of wrestlers will do that to the point where when they get mad at a fan, they try to throw it in our face and be like, we wrestle and we hurt our bodies and we wrestle injured for your entertainment. Nobody asked you to do it, bro. Nobody asked you to do it. I'm just saying, I admire it, but don't throw it back in our face when you want to be toxic, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. Literally, don't throw it back at us.
So I wish him the best. It sucks that he broke his nose. I wish him the best. I'm sure they're gonna put on a banger. And be careful, please.
Exactly. Be careful. I'm sure it's gonna be a good match. All the credibility to him, man. But be careful doing this type of shit. And I hope that nose heals. All the good.
So, yeah, that is everything for the news. And keeping up with the theme of AEW, we were going to start you guys off with the AEW All Out Toronto predictions. As we're going to start you guys off with... We're going to start you guys off with this. For the TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné versus Riho. Are we actually fucking kidding right now? This guy's yawning.
Already yawning.
This guy's
Already
yawning.
yawning, bro. God damn.
Mercedes Moné versus Riho. Man, I wonder who's going to win this one. I'll go ahead and go with the unpredictable route. I'll go ahead and say Mercedes, man. I know a lot of people aren't picking her, but I'll pick her.
Definitely, man. I know this is like the underdog option. I am gonna pick Mercedes though as the underdog to win this match.
100%. 100%. So, we have next the Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. You see why we're now reviewing the show?
Like,
it gets worse.
This card?
This is on pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view. This is a dynamite match at best.
I'm obviously gonna go with the Hurt Syndicate here.
God, I hope the Hurt Syndicate too.
Next, we have the return after over a year of Eddie Kingston, and he is returning to face Big Bill.
Big Bill. Why the fuck is he facing Big Bill on his return? What is this? Why is this going on this way?
You kept this guy out of action for over a year. This guy's been on the shelf for over a year. And he comes back, and the best person you had in mind for him was Big fucking Bill? What?
What? Why?
My God. You know, being that the Death Riders have Daniel Garcia, I'm sure he's going to be involved in like the coffin match or whatever. Why you couldn't have just brought Eddie Kingston out there to help Darby Allin because he's got a beef with Jon Moxley completely is mind-boggling to me. Instead, you bring him back for a one-on-one match against Big Bill. Who thought this was a good idea?
Literally, I do not fucking understand that shit, dude. I don't get the thought process behind returning him this way, and it makes no sense to me.
I don't even know why. I didn't even know how much I wanted to see Eddie Kingston back in the first place, to be honest. But this just makes
this.
Let alone with this, bro. I mean, my God.
Lord.
So next, yeah, Eddie Kingston, obviously.
Very Eddie King, yes.
Next, for the tag team championships, we have a 4-way ladder match. I gotta save the best team for last here. So we have the Young Bucks versus Bro Dito versus Jet Speed versus Hechicero and Doorknob Alexander.
What is that fuck ass tag team? What?
They're the Don Callis family's international problems. They are
International problems. No, they're internal problems.
They are, you know, Josh the Doorknob Alexander and the guy that betrayed the whole country of Mexico. No? Okay.
No,
right.
no, none of that. Whatever that was, none of it.
Well, bro, that's what they said, dude.
Fuck.
He betrayed the whole country, man, when he joined the Don Callis family.
The whole country.
That doesn't mean something to you?
No, that means nothing. I think Tony Khan betrayed me with the Don Callis family.
Come on, man. I felt betrayed when they said that. However, yeah, this is obviously going to Bro Dito. Maybe I don't fucking know. I don't care.
I think so. I'll just say Bro Dito.
Next up, we have Tables in Tax match. Mark Briscoe versus MJF. Is there anybody that actually thinks Mark Briscoe's winning this? That's the more important question here. Is there anybody that thinks that?
Is that a human possibility for Mark Briscoe to win on pay-per-view? I don't think so.
Because if so, we need to have an intervention right now. Because Mark Briscoe is not winning anything. Also, guys, the 0 hour for this show, I believe, is called the Tailgate Brawl.
Tailgate Brawl. Oh, is that why some of those matches have the Tailgate Brawl thing to them?
Yes. I think that's what the 0 hour for this show is called. Which, by the way, if you guys were wondering, if you guys did want to see Garcia Shibata 3, it's on the Tailgate Brawl. I don't know I don't even know who the fuck won the first two, but 3 is happening tomorrow, bro. So strap in. It's going to be a banger. But yeah, I'm going MJF. Mark Briscoe doesn't win anything ever.
No, he's the main event jobber.
Essentially. We have a AEW Women's World Championship Fatal 4-Way match as Timeless Tony Storm defends against Jamie. Why are you laughing, bro?
His guard is so fucking mid, dude.
I'm saving one of the. Trust me, the best one's next. Timeless Tony Storm defends against Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Tekla. I would obviously love for Jamie Hayter to win, but I'm also somebody who's been asking for Jamie Hayter to fucking win something since she's been back 2 years ago. Or was that 2 years ago? No, that was 2024 all in. Yeah, over a year ago. When they brought her back on the pre-show, knowing Tony Khan, this is probably just going to be Tony Storm.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a generic Tony Storm win. That's all it is.
So, the next match for the Unified Championship, we have the champion, Kazuchika Okada, defending against Konosuke Takeshita. I believe Kota was in this tournament. I don't know why they didn't put him in this. I think that just would have been nuts. but he's defending
That'd been
against.
great.
Oh, it would have been amazing. He would be defending against Kazuchika Okada defending against Konosuke Takeshita
Okay.
and Masquerada Dorada.
Just do Okada and Takeshita. Why is Masquerada Dorada in this fucking match? What?
What the
Oh
fuck
God.
is this? What is this?
Oh, Bell, this is a
Bell.
super collision card.
This is this is collision. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Okada Takeshita
That one.
and Masquerada Dorada. If this isn't the
Why is
hardest
this-
cock block to Okada Takeshita, then I don't know what is.
Mhm.
I don't know what is. What a joke.
Right.
I would obviously love to see Takeshita, but we all know Okada's going on to probably win another C2, so we know how that goes.
Yep. We all know how it fucking goes, man.
Because he is tied to be the greatest tournament wrestler ever. I feel like Tony Khan's gonna have him win it this year, and he's gonna have him beat the record. So
100%.
So that's that. Next we have FTR versus CNC.
Hey, yo.
So we all know Sir K loves CNC, and what are you thinking for this match, man?
I would think a Christian and Cope win.
CNC,
I would think they would get the first win. I'm assuming. I think they're overall going to win the feud. If I'm guessing, we'll get 3. CNC will win the first one. FTR second. CNC number 3. That's what I'm guessing, and that's what I'm gonna predict here, man. What about you?
Yeah, especially now that Dax has that broken nose, I definitely feel, which is gonna suck because I actually do like FTR on television, but I definitely think CNC is gonna win the match. Yeah, I think they'll win this one, and probably go on to challenge for the tag titles, and then we'll probably get another FTR match for the tag titles when CNC has the tag titles. So, yeah, probably go ahead and say CNC for this one. So. There you go.
Probably.
We got the coffin match. Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley. I'll go ahead and say Mox. I feel like this is going to be an uphill battle for Darby Allin. Actually, has he ever lost a coffin match? I don't think he has. Darby might end up winning this because, you know what? Yeah, because they won't have to pin Moxley. So I'll go ahead and say Darby will find a way. But I feel like he's going to end up getting his ass beat by the Death Riders at the end of this.
Oh, 100%. It's going to be classic Death Riders. They're going to lose the match, but they're still going to beat the shit out of their opponent to make them still look good. It's why the Seth Riders are also called the Seth Riders.
Correct.
Because it's the same formula. But I think I've heard that before, that he never lost a coffin match. So I am going to say Darby because I think that statistic is true, and I think it's going to continue here.
For sure. And what might be the main event, I think, for the AEW World Championship, Hangman Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher, the TNT champion. The match is going to be great. I don't know why Kyle Fletcher couldn't have just defended the TNT championship, being that you had him defend the TNT title on the last pay-per-view, and he actually had a really good match with Takahashi. So I don't know what the fuck we're doing there, but I think he could just be a great standalone TNT champion, and I know the match is going to be great, but again, why do you have to put Kyle Fletcher in this situation to take a loss he doesn't need to take? So I'll go Hangman.
Exactly, man. I don't know why you didn't just do a normal TNT title match with somebody in that division, but you didn't. He faces Hangman. It's gonna be a banger match, but it's pointless, man. But it's gonna be a banger, and Hangman is obviously gonna win.
For sure. For sure. So we got WrestlePalooza next. The Usos getting back together to take on. Who am I kidding? This is your Raw main event, right? To take on Braun Breaker
Literally.
and Bronson
Agreed.
Reed.
I could take a guess to how this match ends and how, the after match goes. I think it's going to be the same thing as that coffin match.
So I got two ideas for this one. One of them is that Jey Uso kind of starts to like work a little inhumane, kind of like Roman used to. And I think Jimmy's gonna try to like be like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" And then it's gonna end up costing him either that or they're gonna win and the Bronze are gonna whoop their ass afterwards. Those are the two scenarios that I'm looking at. However, poor Bronson Reed will have to take another loss. But we got oh, that's what I was gonna say. That was the point I was trying to make. We better hear the Usos theme song. I don't want Jimmy coming out to Jay's entrance music. We better hear Down Since Day One-ish, bro. It has been
gotta hear it.
too long since we've heard that banger. I am tired of hearing Jey Uso's theme song. And yes, it's basically the same song, but the lyrics on the tag song just hit different.
It does. It just hits different. They're a tag team again. They're tag teaming. They got to come out to that tag theme. Although I would really love, that scenario you suppose where they lose because, Jay's trying to go, crazy and Jimmy's trying to reel it back. That would be fired. I think that might end up happening eventually. I feel like they are going to win this first one, though. I don't know. I think TK. I think Triple H just plays it too safe.
For sure. I could see that. But yeah, those are the two scenarios I'm looking at. If I were to just give an overall prediction, I actually I got to agree with you. I'll probably go with what is the safer bet, and that is the Usos win and then the Bronze whip their ass afterwards, because it seems like that's all Triple H knows how to fucking do at this point.
Literally.
Bill says, I'm surprised you didn't start with the match that's opening. So if you guys did not know, Cena Brock is opening. Tomorrow we'll open with it. Tomorrow we go in chronological order. Usually for predictions, I'll go with interest level lowest to highest for predictions.
Yeah.
So the next match for the WWE Championship is Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm really fucking pulling for Drew McIntyre. I don't want to see Cody Rhodes as WWE champion anymore. However, I'm predicting Cody Rhodes. It's a safe option.
I am. It's going to be the safe option. If they want to throw intrigue to SmackDown, they would have Drew win. They're not going to do that. They're going to play it safe. They trust Cody. So Cody's going to win, and he's going to continue to be champion and do nothing of interest.
Yes. There you go. So, for the next match, for the Women's World Championship, we will have a new world champion crowned. It will either be Io Sky or Stephanie Vaquer. So, this one is actually kind of easy. I think it's kind of easy. With Io being in this whole story with Asuka and Rhea and Kairi Sane, that mixed with the fact that Stephanie Vaquer said her dad is coming out to the show to see her wrestle, I think she said for the first time in WWE, I'm going to go ahead and say Stephanie Vaquer, which I can't wait. And that really goes to show you, man, they view her Tiffany Stratton levels of future star.
100%. 100%. I think so. I really think so. Especially with what happened on Monday with Io telling Asuka to let her do this match on her own. Asuka's definitely going to come in and try to help, quote unquote. And I don't think it's. I think it's going to devolve into fuckery. And I think Stephanie Becker is going to get the win. To be honest, I think it's the best. I think it'll be playing it too safe. It'll be literally the Cody Rhodes situation if they just put it back on EO. I think your best situation is to put it on Becker here.
Logan says, I hope Triple H doesn't go the safe route here. If he does, I'm going to fucking bash my head up against the wall. Because
if Cody and EO win, oh my god, dude, this man is scared.
Next up, we got Big Pisser, the Beast, for the first time since SummerSlam 2023 versus the greatest of all time, the Never Seen 17, the champ, the last real champion. Did I already say he was the greatest of all time? The greatest of all time, John Cena.
GOAT.
I'm actually fucking stoked for this match. I love their match from Extreme Rules 2012. I am excited to see what they can do, and I'm excited to see John Cena tell his underdog story. We will have a problem if Brock Lesnar wins this match, because that is bullshit if he does. Brock should kick his ass, don't get me wrong, but I need to see that Super Cena come back, bro. Again, I obviously feel some type of way about Brock being back in general, but like in terms of their matches, at least their match from Extreme Rules 2012, I love that match, and I'm excited to see what these guys could do, and I'm excited to see John Cena in that yellow gear. I'm very excited to see it, and I'm going with the greatest of all time, the Never Seen 17, last real champion, the greatest of all time,
Exactly.
John Cena.
I'm going to go with the go-to. I have this fear. You know, this is going to be his big 100th pay-per-view win. I'm very scared that they're going to want to wait for that 100 pay-per-view win. I'm scared for that, I am. But I think it's the perfect person to get it against. And I think this is the perfect place to get that 100 pay-per-view win. So I'm going to go with Cena, man. Hope he gets it.
But, Sir K, what are we doing for Crown Jewel?
I don't think we have a fucking clue.
Who's the GOAT getting for Crown Jewel is the real question, because I got somebody in mind, Triple H, and I don't know if you're jiving with it. Lately, you ain't been jiving with shit, so you're probably not picking up what I'm putting down. Yeah. But bro,
he's not going to pick up any of this.
October 2nd or 3rd, whenever the fuck it is, John Cena is scheduled to be at Crown Jewel Perth, and the way I see it, you employ somebody that I would really love to see John Cena in the ring with, and you kind of been doing shit with them lately, so it's your last chance. You got till Survivor Series, but at this point, I'm starting to think you're too stupid to realize it. You got AJ Styles, bro. Just saying. I know you're not gonna do it, you idiot, but just saying.
I would love it, man. I wish.
But yes, I'm going John Cena, the greatest of all time.
Most definitely.
So, you know what I was thinking about yesterday? Before we get on to this match, you know what I was thinking about yesterday? Mm-hmm. Remember SummerSlam 2021 when Cena came back and they did like the whole Roman Reigns feud?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this yesterday. I often think about this a lot. The, I guess, tagline for that match, like how hard that was, because I don't know if you guys remember, but the tagline for that match was the greatest of this time versus the greatest of all time. I just got to remind you guys how stupidly hard that was. However,
that was real tough.
Speaking of stupidly hard, we have the return of AJ Lee, and this shit is gonna go hard.
I'm excited. I'm very excited for this match.
I'm excited to see her in the ring with Becky. I love seeing all the memes about like the end of WrestlePalooza, and it's like an image of like Rollins stomping AJ Lee.
Oh my
So
god.
so I love seeing all those memes and whatnot. But we got AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Becky Lynch and Mr. Seth Ryder himself, Seth Rollins. Ooh, this one is interesting. This one is very interesting. I would say they would want to go the route where, you know, Punk and AJ lose so they can, you know, have a reason to come back and get at them. I actually think Punk and AJ are going to win this here because I feel like Crown Jewel, AJ Lee might be getting a IC championship match against Becky. As for Seth and Punk, maybe they do their singles match there. Hopefully, because maybe we could get the championship off of Rollins, but we will see. We will see.
It's not happening.
Yeah, it's definitely not happening. That is the most
No,
wishful of wishful thinking. Yeah, please, nobody. I feel like me and Sir K are getting in the habit of throwing out good ideas, but we've also gotten into a bad habit this year of saying none of this is going to happen. Unfortunately.
Exactly. Unfortunately.
But per CM Punk, I do not predict there to be any four-way kissing going on in here. I do
not.
I'm sure a lot of wrestling fans, that's like right up their alley as to what they want to see.
All those NXT fans.
Personally, I don't know about any of that. I don't know what AJ was talking about there. But I'm actually going to go Punk and AJ, and I think Triple H is going to go with the safe option, and I think he's going to go with the happy ending to their first time on ESPN. So I'm going to go AJ and Punk.
Most definitely. I mean, it's their first time. It's AJ's first time back at the ring. It's the big special moment. I think they're obviously going to get this first win, and I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm very excited for the match, and I'm excited, man. And we're going to get two Seth Ryder's beatdowns on two separate parts in the shows, man. Are you excited? Because I'm sure that's going to end the exact same way as the bronze match.
Yeah,
they're going to, Seth and Becky are going to lose, and then they're going to be mad, and then beat up AJ and CM Punk. Even though I think even for the feel-good moment, I still think they might get the one-up on that too. I think they're really going to want to hone in the feel-good moment on this one. But I wouldn't be shocked, man. I wouldn't be shocked. But obvious AJ and Punk win.
100%. 100%. So with that is going to do it, guys. So thank you guys so very much for joining us here today on this edition of the News, man. We appreciate you guys coming out, tapping in, talking some wrestling with us, man. Thank you to everybody who came out. Logan, Bell, Durante, and of course, the one and only, the owner of GDR LLC, Mr. Walk 'em down and cut they shiz off, Mr. Walk 'em down and run that marathon, Mr. Walk 'em down and cook that shit up, my man Gotti. Thank you guys as always for joining us. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys live tomorrow with the WrestlePalooza 2025 official post-show review, as it has always been a pleasure for my Johnny.
And I, Sir K.
And that is going to do it, man. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. Thank you guys. We love you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you all tomorrow, immediately after WrestlePalooza, with the post-show review.
Peace.